Meet Jayson, a new player, the Star Citizen who loves to pirate unsuspecting traders. He once hid out in the back of someone's MSR for 17 hours before stealing the cargo. The only time he goes outside is to sharpen his reflexes by juggling his mum's knives. But Jayson has a problem. The low FPS in Star Citizen is costing him kills. He's got his mum's credit card, but should he upgrade his CPU or GPU? Do you know it, Jayson? Are you Jayson yourself? Do you need to upgrade your PC for better performance in Star Citizen? Well, today we're gonna help. Conventional wisdom says that in a gaming PC, you should put most of your money towards the GPU. But in Star Citizen, it's actually normally the opposite. You want to prioritize the CPU. So we're gonna upgrade Jayson's system. He had a 5800 X3D with a 3080 in his system. And we're gonna show you what happens if you upgrade the GPU and what happens if you upgrade the CPU. The test setups are in the description, so go check that out. We're going to test a CPU bound situation generally and a GPU bound situation. First of all, CPU bound. We're looking in the cities, we're looking at Lawville. Now, you'll see here with Jayson's system, the 5800 HDD and the 3080 at 1080p and 1440p, we are CPU bound. But at 4K with the 3080, we are actually GPU bound. So what happens when you upgrade the CPU? What happens when you upgrade the GPU? Let's start at 1080p. First of all, let's upgrade the GPU. What most people building a gaming PC would tell you to do. You'll see at 1080p, that does nothing to performance at all. The 4080 doesn't get any more performance out than the 3080 because in Star Citizen, in the cities, you're often CPU bound. But if we upgrade the CPU, and obviously the motherboard and the RAM, to put a 7800 X3D in there, we have gone from 43 FPS to 59 FPS effectively. A big increase in performance. At 1440p, again, upgrading the GPU does nothing, but upgrading the CPU significantly improves performance. At 4K, it's a completely different story. The 3080 is the bottleneck, but if you put in a 7800 X3D, you get a couple of extra frames maybe. If you decide, in fact, to upgrade to the 4080 with the 5800 X3D, you improve things a little bit, but that's not a great upgrade considering it costs over £1,000 the 4080. So really, the only way at 4K to hit anywhere near good frames is to get a new CPU and a new GPU. Let's now look at Quantum Travel, which is a mostly GPU bound situation. First of all, let's look at 1080p, which is actually not so bad, but we've got good frames from the 5800 X3D with both the 3080 and the 4080. You wouldn't complain about any of that. When we move to 1440p, you're now seeing a situation where the GPU is the bottleneck in all of these scenarios. You'll see that with the 5800 HDD, with the 3080, you're still at 80 FPS, not a problem. And then when you pop in a 4080 with both the 5800 HDD and the 7800 HDD, you're getting the same result, which shows you that you are GPU bottlenecked. At 4K, again, you're completely GPU bottlenecked. The 3080 is really struggling here, hitting 37 FPS. But yeah, the 4080 in both those of the systems is getting a good 65 FPS. Again, Quantum Travel, as I've said before, isn't the greatest test because there's not really much going on, but it does at least give you an idea of how these CPU and GPU combinations perform when they are GPU bottlenecked. So, how to help out the Jaysons of this world? It really is down to the resolution that you're playing at. I've argued for a while that actually playing at 4K looks stunning, but it is incredibly brutal to actually get a system that runs it well. You really need a high-end GPU. You've got to either get a 4080, 4090 or 7900 XTX or maybe the XT. They're the only cards that are going to get you anywhere near 60 FPS. And actually the 4090 kind of looks like a good deal because it's so much more powerful than the rest of those. So, from a 4K point of view, you need a high-end GPU, but you probably also are going to need a high-end CPU to get anywhere near that because there's no point having a 4080 with a 3600 because you're going to be so bottlenecked by the CPU in the cities that you won't get any benefit from the 4080. So yes, 4K is incredibly expensive to make run well on Star Citizen right now. From a CPU point of view, if you're playing at 1080p or 1440p maybe, and you've got a decent enough GPU, the CPU is going to be by far the better upgrade. You're going to see much smoother performance, and as you saw from the graphs before, even with a 5800 X3D and then upgrading it to the 7800 X3D with the 3080 in the cities, it's a much better performance at 1440p or 1080p. So the conventional wisdom for building gaming PCs does not apply generally for Star Citizen. You should prioritize the CPU and not the GPU.